Hello, this is Carolyn of Soul Path Sanctuary, and I'm coming to talk to you about the reading of the month, the themes of this month. Yesterday was the new moon, and I like to take the new moon day as a time to rest, to be quiet, to make wishes, that very bubbling up of the raw desire of what you want to accomplish in this next lunar cycle. So then after that, it can be time to turn to beginning to engage more with the themes and moving into some divination, perhaps with tarot, which is what I want to talk to you about today. So I look at the lunar astrology to see what the big picture pattern might be. And what I do is I take the astrology and I equate it to tarot cards. And there are three particular kinds of cards that I use for this soul path practices, spread, and process that I've used for many years. And this month, it's the beginning of Aries, the month of Aries. It's the first month of the astrological year, but that corresponds to the Emperor in the tarot. That's the major arcana card. And so we are walking the path of the Emperor this month. And because of where it came in the lunar cycle, there's a correspondence to a numbered card, which I often think about as the passage and practice. So it may show a little bit of the action of the month and also suggests how we might respond to it. And there's a third card that comes in the correlation, the making connections between the astrology and tarot. And that's it's a court or a person card. And this month it is the Queen of Wands, given the traditional names. And I turn to different tarot decks and look at the tarot themes, and I weave in kind of the current happenings of the world and translate it to that. And I use different decks. They give slightly different meanings to the cards. And this month, for this setting the themes and finding the reading of the month, I turned to the Mother Peace deck. This was the very first deck that I had, the Mother Peace, the round deck. Got my very first reading with that. And I'm also pairing that with a model created by Starhawk, who's the Wiccan activist, about a model of power. And she lines up, she talks about there are different kinds of power. We think of the word power, what comes to mind? Maybe there's a stereotype of it or a limited meaning. And what she does is she unpacks it a little bit and talks about different kinds of power. Power over, power from within, and power with. And actually the three cards of the Emperor, the Two of Wands, and the Queen of Wands, working with the Mother Peace, really demonstrate these different types of power. So we have here the Emperor. And the Emperor and the Mother Peace is the Emperor who is about command and control. And we also see that this Emperor is hoarding. He's got all the goods behind him that really people need to live their lives. The Emperor, this is the power over version of power that we see. Of course, the Emperor as an archetype, and if we pull in other decks, we can see a whole range of meaning. What we're looking here at Mother Peace is showing us the picture, the dangerous picture of power over. People who rule with violence and control and pressing people down to get them to follow their will because they are self-centered and focused only on their own power. And they put behind them, they hoard for themselves all the goods that if they would be shared, we would have enough for everyone. So this is the picture of power over. However, there are different kinds of power. The power from within, you see here this image, and this is a woman. I see her as being in the real life, and she is dreaming. She is dreaming this figure who is showing her, it looks like how to make fire. This looks like a teaching of a needed skill. And it's really arising from within the person. And maybe this is her more resourceful self, an older, more mature self, or maybe it's actually the ancestors who, from their wisdom from beyond, are sending a message of how to put into action something that's really needed for the self and to share with others. So this is power from within. And you see, it's creative, generative, it's visionary. This is tapping into your vision, accepting it, and gaining the lessons, the gifts, the skills it wants to give you. Now we have power with, which is actually in the mother piece, it's the priestess, but it's the Queen of Wands. And I have this as a post on soulpathsanctuary.com/blog. You can find it there. And I have the idea, like she's naked. She's just showing who she is. Kind of, she's got her power from within and she's walking with it. And she's walking connected to the animal. She's not walking by herself. This is power with. And that brings forth bounty, peace for people. So we have these different kinds of power, and how can we transition to the power that is needed for these times? And I'm turning to the blog post that I wrote just to pull up a little bit of that polished language. So as we're trying to make the shift, there's no sure, fix, linear progress, or quick timeline for shifting the power dynamics. Power over, after all, has been dominant for millennia. But power over is not the power that can stop the spread of coronavirus, the virus that we are facing. What will, if not stop, at least slow the virus is our understanding of how we are connected to others, our understanding that what I do impacts you, what you do impacts me, and people on down the line. And with the spreading of the virus, it's impacting people you don't know. You're staying home. So the sign on a porch in our area, you're staying home will save the life of someone you will never meet. And inspired by that understanding, we stay home, we check on others and share what we have. We practice social distancing. We feel the loss of our physical coming together, but take comfort in knowing that we are actually expressing our power with. The power over emperor won't save us, so we'll have to save ourselves. And as we save ourselves, observe and applaud the power from within visions emerging. The power with systems we are creating. The web of connections we are creating in unusual ways. We're in this time of crisis and we're acting and we're shut off from each other, but we are observing how we are coming together, forming mutual aid societies, connecting with each other. And these are the models, these are our visions from within that we are going to emerge and want to enact in a bigger way in the wider sphere. Okay, because we've recognized how these have saved our lives and we will demand these expressions going forward. Okay, so I take these cards, they're giving us some themes of the month to work with. And you might want to pay attention as we go through the whole month. And I do slow tarot. I don't do like a card every day. Like I'll do a reading and pay attention for a long period of time. Like for example, there is a reading of the month that actually I do and lay out and I pay attention through the whole month. And just to let you know, these are questions inspired by the lunar astrology that then you can take and make into a spread for yourself and see your expression of these issues of power. And you can kind of line them up with like, okay, this is what's happening in the big picture. This is what advice the cards are giving me. So how might I act in the best way to gain the opportunities, move around any obstacles, keep that awareness. So the 3 questions of the month are power. What is your power from within that the world needs now? Expression. How to express this power. Manifestation. What can you manifest to tip the balance ever more away from power over to power with? So if you didn't catch those, they're on soulpathsanctuary.com/blog. It's the first post there. And I do offer this as an e-reading, and that's my collaborative, intuitive format for doing it via email. And it's very inexpensive, $23. And I send you, or I use the Gaian Tarot, and I send you the images, and I ask you questions that you're supposed to consider before you then look at what I wrote, so that you can weave in your own reactions and thoughts, and then you can see what I said. And your reactions and thoughts is tuning you in to your power, your visions from within. So you pay most attention to those. And you can find that on the Soul Path Sanctuary blog. Oh, and one other word, I pay attention to this the whole month because we are going to take the divination that we do now, the understandings we have now, pay attention, see how they grow. And the first milestone we're moving toward is the full moon. And the full moon comes on August 7th. And it comes, the lunar astrology is in justice. So the emperor is going to have an encounter with justice. And I look forward to seeing the emperor's encounter with justice. And then we go through the whole cycle, and toward the very end, we move into the dark moon days, where I've been doing some special things. Be sure to be on my list, soulpathsanctuary.com/blog. You can find the sign up there. I thought I'd get on my list. Because the dark moon release comes, we can let go what we didn't accomplish, anything difficult. We could also be encouraged something good that came to shine our light more. So that's a little bit of the lunar cycle, and I appreciate you listening here. I hope you try out this reading, and I'll see you as the moon shifts.